Hello, everybody. My name is Hunter, and I'm going to be giving you guys a brief overview of our project, the NanoFirewall. So, what is the NanoFirewall, you may be asking? It's a portable hardware firewall on a small single board computer. The motivation behind our project is that firewalls are generally hard to use. A study found that only 4% of people in the United States thoroughly understand firewalls, and 44% don't even know what one is. On top of this, enterprise firewall equipment is expensive and difficult to configure for your everyday user. We think that networks are the gateways to our homes and personal information, and that information needs to be kept secure, especially now that vulnerable IoT devices are becoming more popular. So you may be asking yourself, what is a firewall? Well, to put it simply, they allow you to block or allow internet traffic in your home. This can be to help keep malicious intruders out or limit access to undesirable websites. This is useful in both your home and your small business. The solution to these issues is the NanoFirewall. Our small, cost-efficient device sits in between your home or small business and the rest of the internet. Users can configure the NanoFirewall from a user-friendly front-end website. It has the power to control all the traffic going in and out of your network. To give you a better idea of how the NanoFirewall might be used, let me introduce Claire. Claire owns a small art business with only 4 employees, but she doesn't really have the money for one of those large, expensive enterprise firewalls. So she decides to purchase the NanoFirewall in order to reduce malware on her company computers and improve the overall security of her business's network. Claire is not only a small business owner, but also a parent. Since she had such success using the device at work, she purchased another one to manage her home traffic. This not only prevents her children from browsing malicious websites, but Claire can also set additional filters for them to ensure that they are staying focused on school during the times her kids should be studying.
Hi, I'm Tyler, and I'm going to walk you through how a user would use the NanoFirewall device. So the first thing they'd do after plugging it into the network would be to go from any web browser and go to the device's IP address. They'll then be greeted at the home page where you'll get some statistics about live packets that have hit the device, as well as the total violations that have gone on this week. The following clip shows how easy it is to hook up the NanoFirewall device on the network. If a user wanted to manage the devices that are here, they would go and click on Manage Devices. Here, you get a list of all the devices that the NanoFirewall has seen on the network. Once you get their MAC addresses, you can go and input nicknames manually so you know what each device is. That way, when you add filters later, you don't need to worry about remembering what the MAC address for each device is. Here, we can see Claire has a desktop and an iPad, while her kids also have a computer. This is the page where you would set data limits for each of the devices. We could see that our smart TV has only 5 gigabytes of data allowed per day. It has also used 61 megabytes of download. To configure the rules on the NanoFirewall device, you would click the Manage Rules dropdown where you're greeted with all the different filters that the device supports. One of these we could demonstrate is the website filter. The website filter works through 3 different website filtering techniques. These can be DNS, Advanced DNS, or TLS, which are explained more in the Help and Frequently Asked Questions section. If we want to block a packet, we just click the Block Packets Enabled, and you can see there's already a filter for Instagram.com. If we go over to another tab and try to open Instagram.com, you'll notice we won't be able to. It's just going to sit there and spin. However, if we take this filter off, we can go back to that, and we will now be able to get to Instagram.com. So, remember how Claire wanted to filter the times that her kids could use the computer? What she would need to do is go to the Manage Rules page, click on Time Filters, and she can add a time, say from 10 a.m. to 12. We're going to disable the network during these times, but we're only going to disable it for the kids. You can see that we're only applying to devices in this list, so kids cannot use the internet from 10 to 12, and that's to ensure that they're studying. Claire may also want to block non-encrypted HTTP traffic. This is good when you only want to be able to visit secure websites. In order to do this, we go to our Protocol Filters page, make sure that the filter is enabled, and go ahead and add HTTP. We can demonstrate this with math.utah.edu, who still does not use secure HTTPS. If we do this, we'll be greeted with a page that says that the page has been blocked by the NanoFirewall. This is because page replacement is possible for websites that do not use encrypted HTTPS. Another common filter is geolocation filtering. This allows you to block traffic coming from any given country of origin. For example, if we don't want to have any traffic from Russia, we can go ahead and add their country code and make sure the filter is enabled. Now, if we try to go to government.ru, we won't be able to get there. Unless we remove this filter and try to go there again, it'll go ahead and load. If we wanted email reports anytime someone went to a bad location, what we can do is turn on email reports, and as long as the email address is set up in our firewall settings page, you'll be able to get reports that someone tried to access a bad website. For some of our non-technical users, they may find it useful to use either the firewall presets or the help page. Firewall presets allows you to set an easy low, medium, or high, where we add a whole bunch of pre-compiled filters. This way, the user doesn't have to worry about what is secure and what's not, because they just add a whole bunch of stuff that we already figured out for them. They could also use the help and frequently asked questions page. This explains what the different rules are, why you would use one over the other, and also give links to various Wikipedia pages, such as what is an IP address.
Hello, my name is Evan, and here we can see an overview of our system architecture. Data starts from either the internet or the local network and passes through our C++ backend. From there, our backend can determine whether or not to let the traffic through the device to the output interface. The backend talks to our React frontend using API calls. Additionally, the backend saves its settings by writing to a configuration file within the device's file system. And all of this is running locally on a NanoPi R2S. Here we can see a closer view of our C++ backend. The backend is comprised of three parts: the web manager, the config manager, and the Ethernet manager. The web manager is the part of the system app that talks back and forth with the React frontend. The config manager is in charge of writing and pulling from the file system, as well as distributing information to the other parts of the backend. And the Ethernet manager is in charge of various rule objects and blocking traffic.
Hi, I'm Spencer, and I'll be giving a brief overview of the front end of our NanoFirewall. So Hunter was actually responsible for the entire front end. It was built upon React and JavaScript, and it runs upon the device itself. The main functionality of the front end is to allow the users and administrators to change any firewall settings that they want and configure any rules that they want to block packets with. And it communicates to our backend using API requests. I'm going to give you a brief overview of our user study. Since our project had a hardware portion, we took two approaches to our user study. The first was a roommate study. We ran the device on our home networks, allowing our roommates to give feedback and interact with the web front end. And this allowed them to physically make rules and see the consequences of the rules themselves. We also had the YouTube demo, in which we posted a brief demo video on YouTube alongside a Google Forms survey for those who watched to fill out. The feedback that we facilitated from the users led us to the creation of additional help descriptions and resources for some of our less technical users. In summary, the NanoFirewall brings you several deliverables. It's a fast, portable firewall, great for use on the go. It implements 11 very helpful and usable filters to perform packet blocking. In addition to this, it has email reports which can be enabled to offer the administrator greater information about which rules are being violated frequently and by which users. It brings all of this functionality to you with a streamlined, easy-to-use web front end.